From a heartwarming performance as the last man on Earth to embarking on a journey against the undead with no one but his dog, Will Smith was at his best in I Am Legend, so it's only natural for the fans to be excited at the thought of a potential sequel. But is I Am Legend 2 really happening? After almost 15 years since the original film's release, a sequel for the film I Am Legend has finally been confirmed. And as excited as I am, I can't help but wonder, why now?
In the mountains. There's a whole colony of people there who didn't get sick. The virus couldn't survive the cold.
Everybody's dead. Everybody is dead.
I mean, it's been more than a decade since the first film came out. Well, it might have something to do with the recent surge in zombie content these days. According to Deadline reports, the massive success of the hit HBO series The Last of Us served as an inspiration for the upcoming film sequel. Akiva Goldsman, the creator of I Am Legend, remarked that he's obsessed with The Last of Us. The world in HBO's hit show is viewed not only after the apocalypse, but also after a gap of 20 to 30 years. And Goldsman also revealed that the sequel for I Am Legend would start a few decades later than the first part. Even though the zombie genre has boomed in the last few years, it was actually inspired by a sprawl of films released back in the early to late 2000s. Those movies laid the groundwork for what has now become one of the most popular action and horror subgenres and storylines of all time. And of course, I Am Legend is one of those movies that practically gave birth to the zombie genre. The movie also has remained a timeless favorite with the audience. So, it makes sense that the creators want to bring back one of the movies that kicked off an entire genre, especially since it's currently at its peak. But how will the sequel stand out from all the other zombie movies and shows? In the end, it all depends on the plot. And well, if rumors are to be believed, we're all in for quite a thrill. The ending of I Am Legend is widely considered to be perfect. Yes, it was tragic, but still so beautiful. So the announcement for a second part has only gotten the fans more excited than ever. Not to mention, the story and lore behind I Am Legend are now more relevant than ever, especially after the world has experienced a deadly virus that emptied out the streets of the entire planet. So the potential is endless for the sequel. Both the ending of the original novel and the main ending of the movie are pretty sad, but they only show one side. Neville has just found the cure for the virus.
What are you doing?
The cure is in her blood.
And set up a way for his friends to escape from the angry mutants who are banging on the glass door to his lab. He looks at the wall between him and the angry mutants and sees the shape of a butterfly. And Neville's late daughter always liked to point out butterflies, so he took this as a sign of this being the end. After the mother and daughter escape with the cure, he rams himself into the glass and sets off a grenade.
I think this is why you're here.
This was the definitive ending of I Am Legend. But this is where things get tricky in both the book and the movie. As Neville studies the mutants, he finds out that they have their own society, rules, and relationships. Still, he didn't care about it that much, because their existence threatens the return of what he once thought of as humanity. This left a gap that we might see getting filled in the sequel, especially because I Am Legend 2 might follow the alternative ending. I gotta be honest, Neville treats the mutants pretty horribly in the book. This includes trying to kill as many of them as possible by doing horrible experiments on them.
Did all of them die?
Yes.
My God.
Instead of becoming an icon after finding a treatment for their ailment, as the film suggests, he became an outcast, as the mutants have become the dominant species. And while Neville has made himself into their deadliest enemy, he's destined to become a symbol of violence and destruction in the novel. So fans of the novel were upset that the movie made Neville look like a hero who sacrifices himself. And to please them, the production decided to give an alternate ending, where Neville still had these same insights, but was spared death. He was forced to live in feeling guilt and remorse for the violence that he committed. And if you're confused, let me tell you what this means. There are 3 possible endings to the first film that will affect the sequel. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. However, I'm pretty certain that part 2 will follow the storyline where Neville survived. How else will Smith be part of the film? Since he's an executive producer and co-star, Will Smith has no reason to leave the film. This leaves the possibility of Dr. Neville making an appearance in flashbacks. But if the creators decided to go with the alternate ending, we might get to see Neville's character development after learning that the mutants are in fact intelligent beings, and not just mindless killers. But besides Will, who else can be part of the cast? You know what? It's been reported that Will literally shot down every and all ideas for the I Am Legend 2. So, how did he finally get on board? Well, we've got Michael B. Jordan to thank for that. He approached Smith with his own idea for the sequel, and obviously, Will was sold. Jordan, who was instrumental in the success of films like Black Panther and Creed, will now be co-starring with Smith in the movie. Sadly, other than him, no other cast members have been announced. But people do think that the mother and daughter he saved in the previous movie might make an appearance. Besides them, the original film's screenwriter, Akiva Goldsmith, will return for the sequel. One of the producers claims that Jordan's concept for the sequel film is unbelievably cool, so much so that they had to bring this universe back to the big screen. Aside from all this, I know the one thing that's on everyone's mind. Sadly though, I Am Legend 2 has not yet been given a release date yet, but that didn't stop Will Smith from hinting that the sequel had begun production on March 4th, 2022 though. The actor posted a snapshot of an empty city street to Instagram with no accompanying caption, but his followers quickly caught on. At first, the most likely release date was in 2023, but I have to say, given what happened at the 2022 Academy Awards Gala,
I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
and the fact that the news about the film just stopped coming in after that point. Along with Will Smith's involvement in Emancipation, it's safe to say that I Am Legend 2 won't come out in theaters until at least 2024. The wait is getting unbearable at this point, but at least we got a few more deets on Jordan's role, which is eerily similar to his character in Creed. He might once again be the apprentice to a seasoned veteran in the movie, but this time it'll be Smith instead of Stallone. It's also possible that I Am Legend 2 will match Adonis Creed's origin story even more closely by recasting Jordan as the long-lost son. Either way, I got a feeling that Smith will only play a supporting role this time around, maybe even making Dr. Neville the antagonist. How cool would that be? Especially because it'll free up the spotlight for Jordan to return as the series protagonist in the next installment, whatever else the film's plot may include. Whether it works or not will probably depend on how well Jordan takes over for Smith. If he can prove once again that he can be a good follow-up, it's possible that a third I Am Legend movie could be made in the future, where Dr. Neville wouldn't have to be in it at all. And with that, that's everything you need to know about the I Am Legend sequel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.